everyone, hello, Roberto here for another video review. It's a special one, it's one of the classics, yes, it's Celebrations. Yes, Twix, Mars, Maltesers, Milky Way, Galaxy and Galaxy Caramel and Snickers and Bounty. Yeah, so good few chocolates represented here. Sort of the Mars family, I think you'd say, you know, like, well, Mars, for instance, of course, and Snickers, things like that. So, yeah, very, very interesting. Very popular one as well. I think it's one of my most popular videos that keeps getting watched, actually. Yeah, I think it's got the most watches, possibly, I don't know if of all time, but definitely gets quite a lot every month. So, yeah, I thought, you know, got to get back into it, get it done, get an updated one, basically, is the gist of it, because it's been some time, as I say. So, yeah, very interesting one indeed. So, I'm going to review all these separately, basically. I'm going to give them an opening a bit and look into them further. And, yeah, so I'm going to give them all individual rating and then rate the whole product as a whole, essentially. So, a lot of people really enjoy Celebrations, and actually, normally, you know, I kind of tend to prefer Cadbury's Heroes, Miniature Heroes, as it used to be called, and but, you know, I'm not so sure these days, so it'd be interesting to give them a review and find out, really, just whether I've changed my mind. A lot of people actually said you do prefer these over Heroes as well, and I always thought, yeah, I think I prefer Heroes, you know, I just think they're just more interesting things. But over time, even though I would say these are perhaps a bit more, arguably mundane, a bit more normal, I think they've warmed to me quite a lot, actually, and I think they're just a bit, I don't know, I think Heroes are just a bit, I don't know if it's too sweet, they're just a bit too much maybe. These ones are just a bit more subtle and, you know, while they're quite normal, you know, I think the proportions and things just give you a bit more than the sum of their parts basically. So, yeah. So let's have a look at it further. It's got this sort of new, this is a small box of them as you can see. It's got this sort of weird shape to it. It's quite interesting. But obviously, you know, clearly, you know, most of them are going to be in the bottom half of this, if not further down, because there's nothing in the top for sure. You can see there's not much movement going on there. And I don't think that means it's full. And sort of like, you know, I could technically bend that top bit there. That's, yeah, so there's nothing there at all. So what does it say on it? It says 100% well, not sustainably, responsibly sourced. I mean, responsibly, I shouldn't laugh really, but that's a very subjective term. What does responsible mean? I mean, you know, you could say this video is 100% responsibly made, but what does it mean? What does that mean? It means nothing, does it? It literally means nothing. So, yeah, I don't know. Usually they say 100% sustainably sourced cocoa on these products, and I've always said, well, you know, what does, you know, what does that mean, really? Is it 100%? 100% is a bold claim to say something's 100% sustainably sourced. So I think now they've kind of possibly cottoned onto the fact that that's kind of hard to prove, and this and the other. So they're saying responsibly sourced now, which is very ambiguous. You know, what does responsibly, you know, I mean, it was ambiguous anyway, but what does responsibly sourced cocoa mean? I mean, does it mean, what does it mean? All right, well, anyway, I've got, you know, it's a bit silly, really. I guess it's good that something's been put in place to at least try and have, you know, to make it, you know, I don't know. Again, I was going to say responsible. I mean, what does it mean? But at least something's in place for people to be trying to do something that's good. But it could really mean anything. So anyway, I'd look into this if it's important to you, because I think there's definitely room for ambiguity there. It does say scan me, so feel free to do that. I'd say it's important to you. Maybe you'll find out more. Well, there you go. It gives you some blue. 100% verified responsibly sourced cocoa. Who buy? We purchase a volume of responsibly sourced cocoa equivalent to the volume used in this product. So they're offsetting it, basically. So what they're saying is, this product could be 100% not responsibly sourced, but they buy the same amount from someone else to offset it. What did they do with that? Did they just put it in a, you know, in a bin? You know, what did they do? Who knows? But anyway, probably tell you more if you go there. But it probably won't. Or at least it'll give you the semblance of telling you more. It'll just sort of show you some photos of probably, I don't know, placing probably in South America or Africa, you know, of saying we're helping these communities and this, that and the other maybe, and stuff like that. And but will it really answer the question? Well, find out. Let me know if you find out. I mean, I'm posing these questions. I could be totally wrong to pose them and say, you know, they could be really clear with what they're doing and this, that and the other, but I don't know. I think if they're really clear with what they're doing, they would be really clear what they're doing on this label here. So that's why I assume they're probably not. All right, well, enough of that. So we've got there an assortment of milk chocolates and a milk chocolate covered biscuit. Oh, interesting. All right, that's strange, isn't it? Some of the milk chocolates and a milk chocolate covered biscuit. Well, I mean, there's more than just milk chocolate covered biscuits here. I mean, you've got fluffy bits, you've got caramel, this, that, and the other. So interesting that. Don't know why they put that there. I've got obviously palm fat in there. Okay, anything else? I always say E471. I'll have to look into what that is. A few things there. But it's usually E471 usually is on these products. Okay, milk chocolate contains milk size 14% minimum and cocoa size 25% minimum. Such vegetarians. Get in touch, not happy, stuff like that. 185-gram box. Or container, whatever. It's got the thrown bin symbol there. So it's called what's usually called the big green dot, but obviously it's red in this case, red and white, but it means that the company supports recycling, but you can't necessarily recycle its products. And we've got calorie information here. Portions per pack, 6 roughly, 27.3 grams. Per 100 grams, 195 calories, 24 grams of fat, 14 of which are saturates. And per 6 per pack, 27.3 grams, 155 calories, 6.7 grams of fat, 4 of which are saturates. 100 grams on average, okay. Yes, values will vary by brand, alright. Unfortunately, because it won't be a standard set, you might get more of one than another in here. Potentially, they won't, they won't commit to anything, but I think that's probably fair enough. Barcode underneath and sell by date, things like that. Keep cool and dry, it says. Alright, well, if there's much more to say really, so I think I should move myself down, give them an open, see what the distribution's like, things like this, so let's do it. Let's move myself down, give them an open. Okay, then I'm going to give these, celebrations an open. I keep trying to say like Nestle celebrations or Galaxy celebrations and all that, but it's just celebrations, isn't it? There's no, Mars celebrations maybe you'd say, I'm not sure. I mean, these made by Mars. Look on the bottom there. Mars.co.uk, Mars Wrigley, Confectionery UK Limited, there you go, stuff like that. Alright, let's give it an open then. So Tomically I've done about 1,050 reviews, roughly, something like that. I need to really count to find out for sure what I've done. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, not done so already. So top right to cut up a link to place to all my other reviews, plus some related ones, such as other chocolate selection ones, and yeah, any others I think will be relevant. So after you watch this and like, subscribe, go check this out. Hope you enjoyed this too. And first of all, I'd like to say I do like the way this comes across like that. So you can kind of just, maybe just about, don't know, will that slot in? Doesn't seem to slot in. It feels as though that should do something, but I'm not really sure what that should do. Not obvious, is it? I mean, it looks like it should just slide into there, but clearly it's not doing so. I'm not sure. I don't know what that's meant to do. Some kind of reseal thing. Maybe it's just the way it was sealed, actually. So I think it's probably a bit of nothing. But there you go, yes. I don't know if you ever really would reseal this, but you could just hangs down like that. So let's tip them out. It's a quite nice looking box. I do like it. There's quite a lot in there actually, quite a lot in there. Got some random stars at the bottom. I don't know what that's about. But it's pretty nice. And again, let's say, I've poured them out, but let's just pour them back in. Just to sort of see how much it filled. And it does fill a reasonable amount actually. I'm relatively happy with that. I think I was complaining before that it wouldn't go that far up, but I think, obviously they're all in wrappers and things. Without the wrappers there'll be a lot less lot more room in there, but not too bad. I'm happy with that. Alright, so let's see what the distribution's like. There's nothing left in there. Nope. Okay, alright. So the distribution's like this. We've got 3 Bounties to start with. 3 Maltesers, that's a good start. Got 3 Mars, that's even better. Look at that, 3 Snickers. Wow, well, I'll tell you what, so far so good. Alright, maybe going to go a bit to pot now. We've got 2 Galaxies. We've got 2 Galaxy regulars and 2 Galaxy caramels. 2 Twixes. And 2 Milky Ways. So, yeah, what do we think? I mean, I don't know. So basically, half of them have got 3. And half of them have got 2. I don't know, I guess it's, don't know. Not sure what to make of that. I mean, I guess it's not with 1, there's not like got some with 4 and some with 1 and stuff like that, so it's not too bad, I guess, but clearly it would be nice to have an equal amount of all of them, but yeah, so I'm not sure to make of that really. The alternative that they probably would do is to give you 2 of each, wouldn't they, really, rather than 3 of each, but I think there's definitely room for another 4 chocolates in that box. So, I think you could probably, as I say, the way to go up, of course, but yeah, so, disappointing that really, to say, to an extent. Because obviously, you only get 1 of these ones. If these are your favourites, you give 1 to someone. If you don't like these ones particularly, you are in a bit of trouble. And I would say these are probably maybe the more mundane ones, although I know Bounty has its fans, of course. I don't know. Although I do really like the Malteser ones. Although they've diminished a bit in recent years because we just get so used to them now and they do sell them all separately and things. Don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think about these ones. Leave a comment whether you think you're sort of shortchanged by this distribution or not. But I guess technically it kind of, there's not 1 of one and 4 of another, stuff like that, which I have seen in the past with chocolate selection. So maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay. Alright, so I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll move a few of these away now. So we'll leave ourselves with just 1 of each. Yeah, okay. So I'm doing messing this up. That's what I'm doing. I'm messing it up. Alright, so we've got 4 there. Alright, 4 there. Okay, so let's give them what do we think? Should we give them a rough open? I'll tell you what I might do. I might just, I lift myself up and give them a taste. I think I do them individually like that. I think it might be going a bit too far to open them this way and yeah, and then do it this way. So I'm going to lift myself up and give them a taste. So yeah, let's do it. Okay, everyone, going to give Celebrations a taste, yes. So giving them a bit of an open, we've had a look at what's inside and saw the distribution, which is reasonable. There was 3 or 4 of them and 2 of the other 4, so not bad, I guess, but there we go. So we're going to go through them individually, see what they're like, see what give them individual ratings. I've got like a star system I can give them, you know, up here on the bottom, you know, something like that. So there we go, yeah, so we'll do that. Why not? All right, so what should we start with? I think. Let's start with Milky Way, shall we? Let's give this a go. So you can see Milky Way here. Got a new wrapper as well. They sort of updated the wrappers recently. So it has a bit of a funny one where these ones where you open up like that, but you have to tear them like this now. Usually it's okay, but sometimes I have problems where this doesn't tear very well and you can't open it. But you can see it's got that tear mark there. So right, let's do it. Okay, if you're forceful, you'll be okay. Right, there we go. Yes, there we are. Yeah, so we can see it's got a relatively nice shape there. Let's give a bit of a measure just before we go on further. About 3.5 centimetres in length. Height, it's got a bit of wavy bits, about 1.6. And the width, roughly, about 1.8, 1.9. Because it's got tyre tracks on the bottom. Alright, so yeah, I think I'll give it a bit of a nibble in half so we can see what the bottom looks like. And in fact, I'll just give it a bit of a chop so you can see what it looks like on the inside. There you go. Obviously crushed the chocolate a bit. And there we go, yeah. So, alright, let's give it a bit of a taste, see what it's like. Got nice sort of whipped, what is it just lard or something? I'm not sure really, you know, both best not knowing really, but there we go. I think that's what I heard it was, you know, but anyway. But I think it probably will taste better than it sounds. So let's, you know, I'm sure there's sugar involved as well. But anyway, I'm not sure what it is, but let me know if you know. Alright, let's give it a taste. Milky Way, I still loved them when I was young, you know, and wouldn't it become a bit more mundane as time's gone on, but really nice sweet centre, nice and fluffy, really fluffy actually. I think they're actually better than you'd think they were. I think they were quite mundane, obviously based on the very small bar. It's not much bigger than that now probably. Probably about 2 of those in size with the regular Milky Ways nowadays. About nice chocolate, quite a sweet centre, nice and fluffy. I actually quite like them actually. I think they're not too bad. I mean, the average chocolate, by the way, is about 3 out of 5. Yeah, I think these are not bad. Definitely going to blow your socks off. But they're just a nice chocolate one in this product, really. Yeah. It's a solid one to start with. Maybe a 3.5. I think for me, I'm going to say 3.5 out of 5. I quite like the Milky Ways. They're nothing special, but they do a good job of, you know, yeah, just giving you a nice treat. And they're better than you'd think. I mean, you can leave these to the end probably with Celebrations, but they're not that bad. All right, let's try the Twix one then. Try the Twix one. Those who don't know, Twix is usually a 2-fingered bar, sort of biscuits with a sort of caramel layer then covered in chocolate. Okay, let's got the order pull tab again. There we go. So it looks like a mini Twix. One of my friends was saying that the Twix in this don't taste as nice as the regular ones, not the same, because they're a big fan of Twixes. So let's give this a bit of a measure then. We get on 3.6 centimetres. And the width 2 centimetres, just over. Height, so we know if they ever change the size of these, about 1.4. All right, a bit of a chop. Okay, there you go. You can see what they're up against. So you can see the biscuit layer, the caramel on the top. Not an overly runny caramel, as you can see. All right, let's give it a go. Let's give it a taste. I must say, I'm not too sure whether they're different than the regular Twix or not. I think they're probably the same, to be honest. I know some of these do taste bits different than its bigger counterparts, but I think it's just the proportions because you're having a bit of a smaller part of it. I think Twix doesn't hit a spot, you know. Sometimes I do crave one. Not done for some time, but you know, I have craved them in the past. And it's okay, this one. It's okay. I think it's, again, a bit like the Milky Way. It hits a spot. It's not amazing, but it just gives you something a bit different. Nice crunch, you know. I feel like I prefer Celebration of something else in it. You know, the Topic used to be in it and the Twix replaced it. I think it was the Topic anyway. I'm sure that's one to replace. And while I'm not a massive Topic fan, I think that would definitely provide a bit more interest instead of, you know, and more of a varied amount to the chocolates. Although, you know, as I say again, I think the sort of mini Topics would work quite well, really. And I don't know if this one, you know, I'm not sure if I'm pleased that this one's in it or not, really. And the Galaxy Truffle, you know, used to be in years back. I mean, that was amazing. I don't think that was ever replaced. I don't think any of these replaced it. Maybe did the Twix replace that? I'm not sure. But anyway, so yeah, I think it was replaced with Topic. I'm quite sure of it. We used to like the the Galaxy Truffle, that was great, and a bit of a shame. I think the Twix definitely doesn't live up to either of those things, really. I do like Twixes, I prefer them to Topics, but I think a mini Topic would actually go down a bit better. I think it makes another one. The biscuit's nice, Caramel's nice, chocolate's nice, but it's just nothing too special. And I think, again, it's not quite better, it's above average basically, but not by much. And again, I think it's another 3.5 out of 5. So it's not bad, not bad. But you know, tick some boxes and things. It's a nice one to have, but again, it's just okay. You know what I mean? It's just a typical run of the mill sort of an average, nice bar, but nothing too extravagant. You know. All right, let's try Snickers then, shall we? Let's try Snickers. They're nice. Let's see, quite colourful. It's got like French flag there, and then Snickers colours. All right. Okay, there we go. Snickers and Mars do have a slightly different design on the top. Let's give it a quick measure then, just while we're at it. The length, about 3.5. 3.6, depending on where you do it. It's a bit knobbly in places. And the width, about 2. And height, roughly about 1.4. It might depend. Yeah, goes to 1.5. Right, let's give it a chop. Snickers, they don't know, it's basically sort of a bit like a Mars bar, sort of, you know, yeah. So it's got a nougat bottom with caramel, and then in the caramel is peanuts, chopped peanuts, basically covered in milk chocolate. So I do used to like Snickers, but I do like them nowadays. I prefer them when they've been refrigerated as well. They're really nice actually, and you know, still technically know them as Marathon. Back when, sort of, you know, giving away my age really, but used to be called Marathon when I was younger. Bit of a shame they changed the name. It's a lot better a name, but yeah. All right, let's give it a taste. There's a good substance to Snickers, you know. They're definitely a punch above the weight. They're really, I'm a big peanut fan, but I do like Snickers, yeah. I do like them. They've just got a nice chew to them, really. Refrigerated, they're even better. They definitely punch above the weight, the Snickers do. They really do. They just got like a nice nougat taste. I feel like they're better than Mars, really. I think both Snickers and Mars are better refrigerated, but Snickers is just generally better, I think. Although we'll come to see that in a second. But you know what, I think it definitely punches above its weight. I don't think it's the greatest bar in the world, but it definitely, you know, again, ticks a box. And again, these chocolates all seem to be doing that, really. And I think it's better than the other two. I mean, for me, you know, a solid 4 out of 5. I think the peanuts, the chopped peanuts, the caramel, the chocolate, and the nougat, they all work really nice, and they all taste nice, and they give you, I say, a bit of a good substance, actually, a good chew, strangely enough. So yeah, 4 out of 5. I like that one. But let's try the Mars then. I might have said I prefer the Snickers, so we'll see if that's changed. What's the... Alright, we've got potentially a slightly different design on the top, a bit more of a wavy top than the Snickers. Let's give it a bit of a measure then. It should be the same size roughly. Who knows, they're all going to be roughly the same size, so they'll probably change them more if they ever make them smaller. 3.6. And then about 2 centimetres in width. And the height, about 1.7. Alright, so it's basically the same as Snickers, but just doesn't have the chopped peanuts. The nougat is slightly different actually. I don't know if it's just a result of the peanut. You know, there's the Mars one. The Snickers one there. So the nougat is slightly lighter in the Snickers one. It is definitely different. I was a fan of the Mars Dark or whatever it's called. You know, when they did the dark chocolate with a vanilla centre. This is like a chocolate vanilla nougat. Or white nougat anyway. Yes, but anyway, let's give this one a go. So it's like, So it likes the substance of a Snickers, you know. Not bad. But definitely more mundane. I don't know, it doesn't taste quite as nice. It's not bad, but it's just, I don't know, the nougat just has a bit of a different taste. It's not really as nice for some reason. It's not got the substance of Snickers. It's not as nice as Snickers. It just doesn't quite work as well. It definitely is better refrigerated. I don't know why it just tastes nicer. I don't review things refrigerated, frozen and room temperature, you know, in each individual. It's just too much really. But I definitely think if this was refrigerated, I think it'd be a 4 out of 5. But as it stands, I think it's a 3 out of 5, this one. It is the worst of the lot so far, I would say. It's not bad, but it's not great, you know, basically the gist of it. So yeah. Alright, let's try Maltesers next, shall we? This is like a, I say, they do sell this separately now. But it didn't used to. This was where it first appeared in their celebrations. So there you go. Not bad, not bad. Okay, looks interesting. So this is the one that's got a different shape than the others, roughly. I think Twix is roughly the same shape as the other ones, even though they've got a different centre. About 3.1 centimetres long. And the width, roughly 2 centimetres. And height, About 1.8. Okay. Give it a bit of a chop. So Maltesers, as you know, we'll probably know anyway, it's like a sort of malt honeycomb sphere, essentially covered in milk chocolate, and this one's just got little balls of it covered in milk chocolate. So it's a bit different actually, and it works quite well, you know, it works quite well. So I think they call it Malteser teaser bar when you sell this separately. Yeah, but it took a while to do that, you know. Let's give it a taste. It does have that Malteser taste. Very creamy chocolate, definitely comes across as very creamy. Nice bit of crunch. Definitely cooled on this one over the years. It's just become a bit more mundane. It used to be really exciting, one of my favourites. So it still kind of is in the selection because it's so different, but you know, from the others. But having said that, it's not radically, you know, so distinct now because you can buy it separately and this, that, and the other. It's okay, but I think it's just, you know, you get, you know, familiarity breeds contempt. Well, that's probably a bit too strong, but it's not quite as interesting as it was. I think it's okay though. It's between a 3.5 or 4. I think it's just a bit mundane, really. I don't know why. It's just not quite as exciting as I used to think it was. So whilst I do still like it, I think it's a high 3.5, a low 4. But to be honest with you, I feel like it's just not. Yeah, it's okay. I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5, though. You know, it's almost a 4, but I feel like a 4 is just too high. If you asked me 10 years ago, I think I probably would have said a 4. You know, maybe 20 years ago I would have said a 4.5. But I feel like it's just definitely cooled on me somewhat, really. But alright, let's have the old, yes, regular Galaxy, yeah, so a slab of nice creamy milk chocolate. Now some, you know, basically, milk chocolate, when it's too creamy, I'm not a big fan of it, but Galaxy's the only one where it's just so creamy that it still works for me. It's got like a G symbol there. It's called Dove in mainland Europe and I think in the US, so I do wonder what they have there for that. Maybe they can pass it off as a D as well, I don't know. Maybe somehow. Let's give it a bit of a measure then. It's obviously one segment of the regular chocolate bar, about 3.4 centimeters in length. Diameter at 1.2. Just for reference before, in case you missed the one. Okay, and the height. Alright, about 1.3, 1.4. Okay, the solid chocolate, this one. I'll give it a chop anyway, just so you can see, but okay, solid chocolate. Alright. Okay, well, let's give it a go. Let's taste it. I must say, I'm not a fan of like Belgian chocolates particularly. They're okay, you know, milk chocolates. They're just a bit too sickly for me. A bit too creamy, but Galaxy just gets it just right. It's just that lovely. It's just really nice creamy chocolate. I don't know, and it works really well. I don't know, it's the one creamy chocolate I just really enjoy. It's a very nice one actually. Yeah. Yeah, it's very nice. Catching the photo a bit, actually, I haven't said that. But yeah, lovely. It's just milk chocolate, but it's very creamy, very nice, very deliciously smooth. The old slogan back in the day was "Why have cotton when you can have silk?" Silky smooth. I mean, yeah, I definitely can buy into that slogan. Yeah, so I think for me, it's still milk chocolate at the end of the day. You know, there's not anything else in it. If you had something else in it, it might be more exciting. So between a 4, 4.5, I think. Yeah, I think just because it's just milk chocolate, I'm going to stick to a 4, but it's definitely an upper 4 out of 5, almost a 4.5 for sure. Nice one, that one, definitely nice. All right, I've got Galaxy Caramel, so same sort of creamy milk chocolate, but filled with caramel, basically. I remember when these came out, when we were going to the shops, I think I'm possibly made myself sick on eating so many of them. Or was that Kinder Surprises? I can't remember. Maybe both. Got the same symbol on there. Okay. Yeah, I remember being in love with them when they first came out. You know, I cooled on them after I had too many of them, basically. But you know, but as you do, I still like them to this day. That was years ago when I was younger. But you know, just stopped having them every day like I did do. About 3.4 in length there, and the width 1.9, and height about 1.4. All right, so this one, let's say runny caramel in there. So I'll give it a chop. You can see it's a lot runnier than the camera you had in Twix before. You can just see it, can't you? Very, very runny, not solid. In fact, I think it's flowing out of that actually. I think if you look at it, yeah, interesting. All right, yeah, okay. So nice indeed. So let's give it a bit of a taste. A nice caramel actually. A nice caramel. You know, it sort of takes away a bit from the chocolate actually. I must say, you can't taste that creaminess of the chocolate too much because of the sweetness of the caramel. But it's nice. Lovely caramel, still a lovely chocolate, but you just can't quite taste it as well. So I think for that in mind, you know, it's kind of got, you know, swings and roundabouts basically. It's got pluses and minuses as a result of that. I think it's still a very nice chocolate segment. It's very nice caramel. Quite sweet, doesn't have like a burnt taste or anything like that, so that's good. I'm not a big fan of, you know, typically like sort of Lindt caramel chocolates where they just have a bit of a burnt taste. This one's not, it's just quite sweet. It's quite nice. But again, I think because you can't really appreciate the chocolate as much, maybe there's too much caramel, you know, it'd be nice if there's perhaps a bit more chocolate, you know, maybe the proportion could be a bit better, I think. But yeah, it's still a nice one. I think for me, definitely one of the better ones in the set, but I don't think it's on the upper end of a 4 maybe, but I definitely feel a 4 out of 5 is the right score for that one. But nice though, nice. And another one that stands out from the others, really. Alright, so we've got the last one, the Bounty. So I'm not really, save the, you know, well, maybe the worst last as far as I'm concerned. I'm not a massive coconut fan, but I do appreciate it more than I used to. I certainly would never really buy a Bounty, and I used to just leave these really, but, you know, always funny when people bring these into the office, you know, where the bounties are always left till the end. And no one who likes bounties know this, so they don't have any, and then they'll just have all the bounties at the end, you know. So, well, let's give a bit of an open there. So, bounty basically is just coconut with covered in milk chocolate. I used to like coconut though, because in milk chocolate, because the consistency always tastes like shredded paper, and it got in between my teeth, and I didn't like it. Just like weird. No, shredded paper is not really much of a texture, but I don't know, just something about it. I just don't know. It felt on my teeth and stuff. Don't know, I didn't like it, but a bit better with it now. So the 3.7 in length and the width, about 2.1 in height, 1.5. All right, let's give it a bit of a chop so you see inside. Okay, so probably what you'd expect, coconut. So if you're not coconut fans, probably isn't for you. As I say, I've warmed coconut nowadays, so it's not quite as bad as I can eat it now and enjoy it, and it does give you a nice sweetness. And I don't mind the texture as much as I did do. So yeah, all right, let's give it a go. Nice sweetness to it. I think so the more you sort of chew on it, you know, kind of gives you more of an experience really. It kind of sort of not hardens, but it solidifies a bit because you know, you get rid of all the moisture. And you're left with sort of like a nice kind of sweet chew. I think the chocolate works well, but it's actually nicer than you'd think actually. For non-coconut fans, I think I'm not a big fan of the bits, the pulp that's left in your mouth after you've sort of like you know, chewed it and got all the sort of taste out of it. But it's not bad. It's not bad. You know, it's better than you'd think. And I say coconut fans, I think this one's a 4, 4.5. I think for me, I'm not a big fan of the texture at the end of it. You know, it's better than the texture I used to think it was when I was younger. It was that weird shredded paper affair. You know, I don't know, I can't quite describe it really. Just something I didn't like the feeling of against my teeth. You know, but it's okay. I feel like I can't really give it a 4 because it's just not my favourite. It's not one for me, but it's close to a 4. I just think it's like that pulp at the end, you know, that you're left with. It's just I don't know, a bit of nothing. So if it wasn't for that, I think it would be a 4 for me. But I think as it stands, I'm going to say, yeah, 3.5 out of 5, but still a nice one. Still a nice one, yeah. But I think Bounty, coconut, well, I don't mind it these days. It's just not my favourite, you know. But I don't mind it. Back in the day, if you asked me 10 years ago, maybe 20, well, 10 years ago, I think, yeah, I would have probably given that a 2. You know, so definitely, you know, it's definitely better than I used to think it was. So overall, what do I think? Well, the problem with these ones is they are quite mundane. I mean, there's nothing too exciting in this. It's just Mars, Snickers, you know, Twix and all this, that and the other. There's nothing really exciting. The Malteser one's probably the most exciting one. But even that, you know, you can buy separately now. You didn't used to be able to do that, which is why it isn't quite what it used to be. But, you know, it's all in all quite a nice, solid chocolate selection. And I can see why people prefer this than Heroes now. Heroes from Cadbury has got a bit sort of, it's a bit too much, a bit too sweet, a bit too... I don't know, I don't know whether, I think I still prefer Heroes, I think I do, but I definitely have room in my life for celebrations as well, and I feel like it's just something a bit more, I don't know what it is. I feel like it's just a more solid selection, which has something that's a bit more varied, and you know, you're more likely to sort of, you know, at any time, any of them really, just feel like you might be able to have room for. Whereas in Heroes, I think you might sort of, some of them think, oh, I just don't really feel like that at the moment, I don't really fancy that one. You know, it's just a bit much, you know what I mean? Whereas these ones, I think you can just nibble them and not really have that feeling, you know. So yeah, I mean, that's what the positive is from them. The distribution's not bad. I say, we're ashamed they're not got 3 of them across the board. Some have 2 and some of them have 3. But generally, you know, there was none that had 1 and others had 4 and stuff like this. It all seemed like it was relatively well planned, you know. It seemed like it was purposeful. So that's pretty good. But overall, I think you just, there's a varied set here. I mean, there's nothing too varied. There's no dark chocolates, for instance, or white chocolates or anything like that. I mean, there's a limit to how varied it is, but it's relatively varied. There's something pretty much for everyone, unless you just don't like milk chocolate. But I think, it's one of those, isn't it? It's hard to cater for people that like milk chocolate with these, because even if you had one dark chocolate in, I think you'd probably still not be too keen on the set. So there is that, and there is an argument that there should be dark and white chocolates in there, but that is the case with a lot of sets these days. These standard ones, we're Heroes and probably even Quality Street and Roses as well. Don't think you have any, there's no white chocolates in there, or dark chocolates these days. They took out the Brazilian darkness used to have, and Quality Street does have some dark chocolates in, but no white chocolates, so and lots, we've got creams and things like this as well anyway. So all in all, this one, I think it's a nice, solid set. I feel like it really, really, really does not have an X factor. I mean, I think it's probably, the least exciting one of all the chocolate selections out there, the big 4 or 5, Roses, Quad Street Heroes, Celebrations, and Terry's Chocolate Sensations. Terry's Chocolate Orange Sensations, I think if you can count that, I tend to. It's just got no X factor here compared to those, but I think it's okay. I think for me, is this 4 out of 5, is that too high? I feel like it's a high 3.5, a low 4. I feel like a 4, I don't know. I feel like it's a nice selection for people, to take into the office and things. It works perfectly, and I think it's definitely got something there, that's interesting to eat and just tick a lot of boxes. And it's, you never really feel like there's ones you don't fancy, and I think that can be the case in other chocolate selections, or at least in Heroes. Maybe, not all of them, but some of them you just think, whereas this one, I think you can pick one and you'd be quite happy with it, really. Even the Bounty one for me, So with that in mind, I think I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and go on the upper end of it and say 4 out of 5. So yeah, I think this one's pretty good, this one, actually. As I say, there are some caveats to that. It's not very exciting, but basically, it does give you what you want. It's a nice selection. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that review. Let me know what you think of this one and what your favourite is. Leave a comment or free. Always great to hear from you. Always doing best to reply. And the Discord server and the YouTube member program are linked in the description as well, so check those out if you're interested in helping out the channel or just want to get more involved. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching guys. Take care. Bye for now. See ya.